Hello, my name is Carl Surrey, and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. Now this is a tutorial that is for Serif's fairly recent program called Affinity Designer, which has just come out on the PC. It has been out for quite a while on the Mac, but this is new for us PC users, and we are trying to learn this new program. And to do this, we've been looking at some old Mac videos and tutorials, some of them by Serif, or most of them by Serif, and some by other people. Now one of the members of the Fans of Serif Software group saw was made by a French person. I'll just go to this web page, and it's by the Affinity forum French, or FR for France, I should say. Now the only trouble with this is it's an excellent video, and I really advise you to check it out. And it's looking at the symbols tool. Now the main problem with this is, one, obviously a lot of it's in French, especially the writing, but I'll come back to that in a minute. But there is no vocal description, which obviously wouldn't be much use to me because I don't speak French. But there is no vocal description. It is just you have to follow what the person's doing on screen, and he does, because he's so competent with the program, he's doing it at lightning speed, and it is very hard to follow. So some people are asking on the group, how did he do that and how did he do this? Now what I've had to do is I've had to watch this video a few times and keep pausing it, trying to work out where he's clicking on corresponds to where it fits onto my PC and English version. And I think I've just about cracked it. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to convert the whole video. I'm just going to sort of start the process off, and then it's up to you to watch the rest of the video, and then you can finish the process yourself, because I don't want to nick this gentleman's work. I think his name is Soft, because he's making comments down here and answering people's questions. And he did this on the beta version, which was back in the Mac, but obviously the Mac and the PC versions are now full-blown products. So I'll just start this video off, and as you can see, it's an Affinity Designer, and like I said, a lot of the text is in French. So basically what he's done is just drawn this shape. So let me go back to Affinity Designer here, and I'm going to select the ellipse tool, I should say, and I'm going to start with a light bluish colour, and I'm just going to draw out this shape like this. And at the moment there is no outline to this, so I'm just going to click on that where it says none and where it says width. I'm just going to increase this slightly until I'm getting a slight black outline to my shape. So let me just quickly go back to the video, because you can see that he rotated it slightly, so I will just do the same here. And as I come up to the move tool, and if I go to this top node, you get this circular arrow, and then you can just drag it around. I'll do it about there. Go back to the video, just press play, and then he just makes a copy and shapes it as an alternate. So what I will do is I will hold down the Alt key click in the middle and just drag a copy of that first symbol. I'll just rotate it, move it so they join at the top there, and then just slightly alter the size. So it's looking fairly similar to that gentleman's video. So we'll just carry on with this. Right, so what he does next is just click somewhere outside of these two boxes so that you're selecting, but let me put it onto the layers over here. So he's now selecting both layers. And once they're selected, these 5, some of them were greyed out earlier, but now they're all available. And what you want to do is click on the subtract one, and what that will do is subtract this circle from that one, like that. So let's go back and see what he does next after that. So he does a little bit of fine tuning with this shape. So I'll just do similar, nothing too fancy. Go back to the video, see what he does. Right, now I'll pause it there. As you can see here, he's put some text up here, which starts off in French, but it does also have the English translation underneath. So what we need is the symbols palette. Now, he's got it set up so it is already available, but on my default version setup for this, the symbols palette is not visible. So if you come to the view menu, down to studio, down to symbols, and put a tick next to symbols, the symbols palette is here. Now you can, if I bring it to the right, and when it starts to turn blue, I could dock it there, or like the gentleman did in his video, he's docked it over here, so you just wait till it goes blue. He's not going to do it to me, come on. Here we go. And so it's down, I've got it down on the left hand side now like he has. So let's go back to the video. So the symbol palette, and then click on create. So come back to this one, click create, and it now has created that symbol that's there over here in this palette. So go back to the video. Right, so what he's done there is, again, he's clicked on the, because we're still on the move tool, he's clicked on, held down the Alt button and just dragged out a second copy, and then it's just a case of rotating it and positioning it where you want it. Like that. So I'll just reduce the size slightly of this second one, so it's not exactly the same, just very slight reduction in size. So we go back to the video. Right, and as you can see here, again you've got the French at the top, and underneath it you have the English version. So you alt click to drag to duplicate the object, which is what I did first, and then after you change the object, you can press well, it says Command and J, but it's Control and J on Windows. So I'll come back to Affinity. So this is where you're using the Power Copy tool, which is just, once you've set up these two, if you just keep pressing Control and J, it will make new versions, and it will remember the settings that how far you've moved it out and how far you've reduced it. So as you can see, they're all slowly getting smaller as they rotate. And as you can see on the layers palette here, you've got all these different layers. So we'll go back to the video. You can see that's what he's done. Right. Now this next bit here is double click on the symbol to edit or move a set of symbols. Now this took me a while to work out what he meant, but if I go back to the very first one which I made, which is there, if I double click on that, when I move this now, it affects all of them within that shape. So you can alter the size and the look of all the different elements of that particular shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it about there, and I believe that you can sort of click on different ones. I think you'd have to double click each time and alter different parts of it, but again, like I said, you'd have to look at this gentleman's video to see how that works. So let's go back to the video. So as you can see, he's moving it around in all sorts of different shapes, and then he starts to change the colour. Again, this is using the gradient tool, which is something I personally struggle with. It is on the fill tool, which is over here on the left. Now at the moment the type is set to solid, but if I select linear, you get this line coming across here, and then you can if you can move the middle section to either go more towards the dark or the light side. You can even change the colour of one end. So I click on that, double click on that and select it. Oh, it's not going to be there. It's not going to let me. Let's try that one. Alright, double click on that and then change the colour to yellow, let's say. And I can move this middle slider again. So you've got a gradient of blue to yellow. And just quickly go back to this gentleman's video, and he's just tinkering with the different colours and the different gradients. So like I said, you can, now this next part is very quick, and it took me a while to work out what he was doing, because if I go back to Affinity Designer, if you come over to the stroke tab, which is up here with the colour tab, let me come off of that gradient tool quickly, just put it on move tool, there we go. On the stroke tab, you've got the width slider up here, which is the width of the, oh hang on, I've got to select it all first. The width of the black line going around the outside. So you can have it, you know, thicker, darker. But then also you can, part of this, you've got here this pressure button. If you click on that, it opens up this, it works a bit like the curves adjustment on from Photo Plus and other photographic editing programs. We've got this line at the top which you can drag and alter, so you can, if you bring it like to the over to the right, you can see that the lines are darker on the right hand side, and if I bring it over to the left, the line should start getting darker on the left hand edge. So you could muck about a bit with how that is affecting. So again, if I change the width a bit, there we go. So you're just altering how certain areas affecting the black line or whatever you using the stroke tool. So I'll come back to the colour, and then I think the last bit I'm going to just have a quick look at. I'll let him carry on altering these. He's obviously doing a far better job of it than I am, but he's just tinkering with the colours and what have you. And then you can still continue to alter the shape and what have you. So let me just pause that there, and I'll go back to Affinity Designer, and the last thing I'm going to look at is just adding effects to this. You come to the effects tab, and I'm going to, I need to highlight all of these again. Let me highlight them all, come to the effects tab, and then you can just add some 3D effects like that, or you can do an outer shadow, so there you have. That's as far as I'm going to take this. You get the idea, and hopefully you will look at this gentleman's video, which, as I said, is excellent. It's just very quick, and I advise you to do like I've done. Watch a bit, pause it, try and see what he's doing, and recreate it yourself. So that's as far as I'm going to do this now. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.